The question is, do you know how to really do inversion in Danish? Because this is something that's giving a lot of learners problems. And I get it, it can be a bit confusing. But today we're going to look at it. We're going to take some time. I'm not going to rush too much. I want to really sit with you guys and go into details and give you tons of examples so you can see how it works. It's really not that complicated. You've just been getting used to the idea that it is. So, let's begin. Danish inversion. How to do it correctly and common mistakes to avoid. Now, we're starting with something without inversion. Jeg tager skoene af, når jeg kommer hjem. Jeg tager skoene af, når jeg kommer hjem. Okay, it's a very basic sentence. I take off my shoes when I get home. And you see that I have når in the middle here. This når is when. It's a conjunction. And when we have the conjunction in the middle, there is no inversion. So, it's like that. Conjunction is basically something you use to bind or to connect sentences. Let's look at something more. Hun spiser, fordi hun er sulten. Hun spiser, fordi hun er sulten. And you all know what this means. Hun spiser, fordi hun er sulten. She's eating because she's hungry. So we have fordi in the middle. Fordi, because. So there is no inversion here. There's no inversion. That is the first thing you need to remember. Now, conjunctions, like I said, are words that you have to connect sentences or clauses. Now, some common ones, there are many more, but some common ones are fordi, because, når, when, present tense, da, when, past tense, selvom, even though, hvis, if, før, before, efter, after. There are many more, but these are some very common ones. Yeah, and you can see that all of these are sort of connecting things. Yeah. Alright. So, there is no inversion in the sentence when the conjunction appears in the middle of the sentence. Then there's no inversion. It's important. And like it says here, if the first clause starts with an adverb, then yeah, it can, but we'll get to that later. You'll see it. Alright, cool. So, this is different. Når han har tid, så gør han det. Når han har tid, så gør han det. Yeah. When he has time, then, it's optional, he does it. Right? What is the thing here? Why is it different? Når han har tid, så gør han det. Well, let's think about it. Basically, what we have here is that når is a conjunction, right? So, when we start with a conjunction, then there's inversion in the second part. That is the rule, right? Når han har tid. Når han har tid, gør han det. Og så gør han det. The så is optional. Når han har tid, så gør han det. Yeah, that's how it is. Or this one. Fordi jeg er træt, går jeg i seng. Fordi jeg er træt, går jeg i seng. Because I'm tired, I'm going to bed. It's the same thing. And we have this fordi, and fordi is a conjunction. So you gotta have inversion in the second part. You can kind of divide it into two. And like one part is because I'm tired. The other part is I'm going to bed. Right? Like the feeling and the action. Or the first one with the time. Når han har tid, when he has time, that's something he has, så gør han det. then he does it. Right? Like there's a conditional sort of, or like whenever he has time, then he does it. You see, it's like two different things. Yeah. And that's where the inversion happens. Fordi jeg er træt, går jeg i seng. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's something that you might forget when you're practicing, but at least get the rule. Alright, cool. Yeah, as you see here, I highlight, and I have the conjunctions in blue. Yeah. Når, when, fordi, because. Gør, does, går, going. Alright? So I help you kind of distinguish the word classes. Sort of adverbs, conjunctions, and verbs over here. Right? Very nice. Moving on. So, when the sentence starts with a conjunction, inversion happens in the second part, after the comma. Now, of course, in real life, there's no comma. You're not going to hear that. But you can sort of hear when the sentence splits. Right? You can hear like there's the first part and the second part. It's almost like there's a setup and a payoff or a finish, right? A conclusion. So that's one way you can look at it. Yeah, very nice. Alright. There's another way to understand it. If the first part of the sentence seems like it, doesn't make sense on its own, or, it's missing a completion or conclusion, then inversion occurs in the second part. So like if I say something like, fordi jeg er træt, because I'm tired, then you're going to expect me to finish that. No one will just say, fordi jeg er træt, because I'm tired, right? Unless there's already a context. But assuming there's not, fordi jeg er træt, it's like, yeah, then what? Right? Like, where does that take us? What does that lead to? Right? We are missing the conclusion. Yeah. So when we are missing the conclusion, that means there's inversion. Fordi jeg er træt. Could also be with any of the other conjunctions. Something like når jeg er glad, when I'm happy. Then you're like, yeah, then what? Then what do you do? Or then what happens? Right? It's not complete. So there's inversion in the second part. Alright, cool. Let's do some more examples of inversion. Da jeg var ung, elskede jeg gyserfilm. Da jeg var ung, elskede jeg gyserfilm. When I was young, I loved horror movies. Alright, that's cool. Alright. So again, da, like when, da, when. Elskede, loved. Right? Da jeg var ung, elskede jeg gyserfilm. And of course, the reason why this is all difficult is because it's the opposite of English. In English, you would just say, I loved horror movies. But if you say that in Danish, like, da jeg var ung, jeg elskede gyserfilm, that sounds pretty bad. Right? That's a big mistake. I mean, it's okay to make mistakes, but it's like very typical mistake. So, next one. Selvom hun er sur, hjælper jeg hende stadig. Selvom hun er sur, hjælper jeg hende stadig. Even though she's mad, I'm still helping her. Right? So, again, you'll see this with colors and everything. Selvom hun er sur, hjælper jeg hende stadig. This selvom, even though, or although, can also mean that, is a conjunction. Right? And therefore, you gotta have inversion over here. Hjælper jeg hende stadig. If you take a second, if you really look at these, you can see that there's like missing something. Da jeg var ung. If I said that on its own, it makes no sense. Da jeg var ung, when I was young. Then what? Then what? No completion. Right? Selvom hun er sur, even though she's mad, again, you want the conclusion. So that is something you can go by. That is something like a rule of thumb. It's like a practical rule. It's not really what you see in a grammar book. But some of you are not so much into grammar terms, so I'm going with this one. Right? It's a very useful way to think about it. Yeah. Alright, cool. So, in essence, sentences that feel incomplete when the first part ends require inversion. But sentences where the first part makes sense on its own don't have inversion. Right? It's really that simple when we're talking about conjunctions. Yeah. And some of you might be thinking like, oh, okay, but maybe I can choose to do inversion, like it's optional. It's like, no, you can't. There's either inversion or there's not. Like, it's not an option. It's not a choice you have. So yeah, that's basically how it is. All right, cool. Now let's move on. You have this contrast, because yeah, if you start with a conjunction, then you have inversion, like fordi jeg er glad. Fordi jeg er glad, synger jeg. But if you have the conjunction in the middle of the sentence, there is no inversion. So you can say it both ways, right? You can say it both ways. It's just the focus that's different, the emphasis, right? Fordi jeg er glad, you sort of have the stress on the because I'm happy, right? The happy part, the reason that you're happy. Or jeg synger fordi I'm singing. The second one, the singing, is in the focus. So yeah, you can do both, but don't mix them, right? That's also very important. Like, don't get them mixed up. Keep them separate. Yeah. All right, cool. Then this is the most common mistake. I hear it all the time. So you want to avoid this. Fordi jeg er glad, jeg synger. Right? Fordi jeg er glad, jeg synger. Do not say that. Right? When you have inversion, like when you have something with a conjunction first, like fordi, når, selvom, før, whatever, right? These that create inversion. Please don't start the second sentence like this with the subject, like jeg or du or han, like the person doing it. That is wrong. We don't do that. Right? The right answer is, of course, fordi jeg er glad, synger jeg, right? Not jeg synger. Also, if you say jeg synger, it's almost like you're starting a whole new sentence. It's like, fordi jeg er glad, jeg synger. Right? It's like they're not even connected. So it's pretty important to get this right. Yeah. Alright, cool. I think you guys are getting it. That's beautiful. Now, you might be wondering why even use inversion in the first place. Like, it's so difficult. There's so much room for mistake. But here's the thing. When you put, we'll get to that in a second. When you put conjunction at the beginning of a sentence, that's where the stress is. So it's all about where you put the stress, the focus. And you have this in your own language too, I'm sure. Like, you can put conjunction in the middle or the beginning or sometimes in the end, although that's usually kind of whack, right? So yeah, it's really about that, and you can't just like cheat your way around and just completely avoid inversion. That's going to sound very unnatural, so I don't recommend you doing that. But again, let's just contrast it here. You have like fordi jeg er glad, right? Because I'm happy. Then there's inversion, because we start with this. Yeah. But jeg synger, there's no inversion. You can also look at it like, fordi jeg er glad feels incomplete on its own. Right? Fordi jeg er glad, you're like, yeah, then what? But jeg synger is like, oh, okay, it's an independent sentence. Right? It just means I'm singing or I sing. So there's no inversion after that. Right? It's really as simple as that. Yeah. So now you know how basic verb inversion works when there's a conjunction. However, there's one more common mistake that you gotta avoid, and I've seen this many times with students over the years. It's sort of when you hear about it, you hear about inversion, like these are correct sentences. You saw them before. You hear about inversion, you're like, oh, okay, so I'll just put it somewhere. I'll just do inversion somewhere. And then some of you might end up saying, da var jeg ung. Da var jeg ung, elskede jeg gyserfilm. Or even worse, da var jeg ung, jeg elskede gyserfilm. I mean, it sounds so ugly to me. I'm sorry to say, guys, but it really does. So, da var jeg ung, that's why there's this red mark here. You can't say that. Or, selvom er hun sur. No. The inversion happens in the second part. Which is why this is the right answer. Da jeg var ung, elskede jeg gyserfilm. Selvom hun er sur, hjælper jeg hende stadig. That's how it is. That is how you do inversion. Inversion happens in the second part, not in the first. Alright? Very important. So you can't just like put it in there in random places hoping that it'll be right. There's a rule. It's not that random. Alright, cool. Let us move on. We have a few more examples, right? And you already get the point, but I really want to hammer this home. I want to make sure that all of you get it, because you can save so much time by just getting it now, so you don't have to spend years making these mistakes. So, hvis du ved noget, skal du fortælle mig det. Hvis du ved noget, skal du fortælle mig det. If you know something, you should tell me. Right? And actually we have more verbs, but the focus verb here is skal. Right? Skal, should. Hvis means if, of course. Hvis du ved noget, if you know something, skal du fortælle mig det. You should tell me, or you have to tell me. Same. Right? Yeah. Exactly. Very nice. And second one. Fordi jeg er høflig, smiler jeg til ham. Fordi jeg er høflig, smiler jeg til ham. Because I'm polite, I'm smiling at him. Or I smile at him. Right? Look at that. Fordi is because, smiler, smiling, and there's inversion. Right? That's what it is. Easier than you think. Really not that hard. Alright. So that is like verb inversion with conjunctions. And I'm going to repeat myself here because you really want to memorize and reinforce this rule by simply paying attention to inversion when it occurs in the Danish text that you read on a daily basis. And so you have like Danish videos and conversations, news, books. I mean, really, whatever it is you're reading or hearing, just pay attention. Right? And when you see words like hvis or fordi or når or før or efter or selvom, like all these conjunctions, when you see them, look at the sentence, look at, oh, is there inversion, is there not inversion? That is how you learn. You learn so much from just reading. Yeah, I can explain stuff to you. That's a part of the equation. But the other part is practice through exposure. Right? So do that. Pay attention to what you're reading. Wonderful. So now we're going to look at verb inversion that happens with adverbs and prepositions. Now this might look harder, but it's not really that hard. So what you see is I dag regner det. I dag regner det. Today it's raining. Or her ser vi et bjerg. Her ser vi et bjerg. Here we see a mountain. Right? It's pretty straightforward. I dag regner det. Today it's raining. And her ser vi et bjerg. Here we see a mountain. Basically, the logic is that when something has to do with time or place, there's inversion, or if it's a preposition. So I dag, that is a thing of time. Right? Today or tomorrow or later or last week. It's all about time. So I dag regner det. You don't want to say I dag det regner. That is wrong. Right? I dag regner det. That is how you say it. Or her ser vi et bjerg. Here we see a mountain. Because here is like a location. Like it's a place. Here, there, like here, there, over there, under there, like on the side. All that creates inversion. Right? When we start with that. So her ser vi et bjerg. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of easy, isn't it? I dag regner det. Her ser vi et bjerg. We have some more examples. På bordet ligger en kat. På bordet ligger en cat. On the table a cat is lying, or lies a cat. But that's up to your English skills, how you want to translate that. Right? På bordet, because it's on the table. It's a preposition, it's like a relation. På bordet ligger en kat. Right? That's how it is. Or dengang vidste jeg det ikke. Dengang vidste jeg det ikke. Back then I didn't know it. Right? Because you have dengang, and dengang is back then. Dengang vidste jeg det ikke. I didn't know. Yeah. Has something to do with time and place. Time and place and prepositions. That's really what it's all about. You want to focus on that. And I think it's starting to make sense. I lang tid var det sådan. I lang tid var det sådan. For a long time, it was like that. I lang tid var det sådan. You want to avoid saying something like, I lang tid det var sådan. Okay? Doesn't sound good. This creates inversion. Med hans hjælp skal det nok lykkes. Med hans hjælp skal det nok lykkes. With his help, it'll succeed or work out. Okay? Yeah, that's good. Skal det nok. Yeah. It's so easy, guys. It's so easy. So, prepositions in general. I mean, there are many. Of course, there are many. But here's just a few. I, in, på, on, at, for, to, til, to, tell, about, around, of, ved, by, at, over, over, under, under. Now these are just some, and these translations are like approximate because, as you know, prepositions can be used in different ways, like different meanings, but this is just to give you a rough idea, right? So these are some prepositions. Yeah. Or something about time, right? You have something like I dag, today, I går, yesterday, I forgårs, the day before yesterday, I morgen, tomorrow, I aften, tonight, nogle gange, sometimes, en gang imellem, once in a while, tit, often, aldrig, never, right? And all these create inversion. Yeah, they do. It's beautiful. However, it also goes for other adverbs. You know, I like to say that these adverbs, they spice up the sentence. Right? Often they would end with like li, like ly in English. Like they give some flavor or some emotion to the sentence. Selvfølgelig, of course, heldigvis, luckily, uheldigvis, unfortunately, desværre, sadly, måske, maybe, egentlig, really, actually, faktisk, actually, desuden, besides, pludselig, suddenly. Right? When we start with these, we get inversion. Right? Now, sometimes, as a little side note, people might say one of these on its own, and then say a sentence, so there's no inversion. Like I could say, selvfølgelig, det er rigtigt, of course, that's right. But then it's because the selvfølgelig is not connected to what follows. Right? So that's something to watch out for. Alright, so let's have some more examples. Nogle gange bøvser jeg. Nogle gange bøvser jeg. Sometimes I burp. Right? Nogle gange, sometimes, bøvser jeg. I burp. En gang imellem sker det. En gang imellem sker det. Once in a while it happens. Right? Because it's a matter of time. En gang imellem, once in a while, sker det. It happens. Ja. I aften skal vi i biografen. I aften skal vi i biografen. Tonight we're going to the movies or the cinema. Right? I aften, tonight. Yeah. So cool, so cool. And a few more examples. Faktisk står han lige der. Faktisk står han lige der. Actually, he is standing right there. Right? Because you have the faktisk as the actually, and står is standing. And yeah, I mean, you know this by now. Eh? It's actually pretty easy when you think about it. Or the next one. Måske er det en god idé. Måske er det en god idé. Maybe it's a good idea. Right? It's pretty straightforward. Er is a verb. Right? Måske er, maybe it. Or if I want to separate in English, I would say it is. Right? But you get the point. Måske er det en god idé. Maybe it is a good idea. It is. Alright. Sådan. Or heldigvis har jeg fri i dag. Heldigvis har jeg fri i dag. Luckily I'm off today, as in no work or no school. Right? Heldigvis. Luckily. Now, when it comes to all these, adverbs and basically prepositions in the category of adverbs, it's how do you know when it's that? Well, is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? If it's not one of those, then it's probably an adverb. Right? It could also be a name, but like generally speaking, that is kind of how you can identify it. Prepositions and adverbs are words that have to do with the physical relations, like under, over, in front of, next to, something to do with time, sooner, later, always, never, often, etc. All that kind of stuff. Locations, here, there, up and down, right? All that. Those are prepositions and adverbs. And then there are the more spicy ones, or the ones with flavor, like actually, maybe, unluckily, suddenly, all those. And besides, without, all those. So maybe what a lot of you need to do is to think about it in your own language, like, hey, what is an adverb? What is a preposition? Right? Because once you know that, this is a lot easier. Yeah. All right. So what you need to remember is that when the sentence starts with a preposition or an adverb that's not a conjunction, important to say, these are not conjunctions, inversion follows. Right? All these things we just saw, there's inversion afterwards. And of course there are many, many adverbs and prepositions. I just put a small part of them here, right? To basically fit it on the screen. But there are many. And you gotta learn all of them bit by bit. Now again, I gotta address this because some of you might be thinking, well, I just avoid inversion. I'll just put the preposition or the adverb or the conjunction in the middle. Right? Problem solved. but the problem with that is that sometimes you want to have the preposition at the beginning. That's what makes more sense because that's where the stress is. That's usually how it is. So you can't just entirely avoid inversion because you don't want to make mistakes. Then you just end up speaking very weird Danish, right? Like another kind of weird Danish. So you just gotta learn it. Alright, cool. Now, of course, there are two ways of saying the same thing. Right? It's where the stress is. You could say, I dag har jeg travlt, or jeg har travlt I dag. So one is, today I'm busy, another one is also, today I'm busy. It's just, where's the stress, and where's the focus, the emphasis, if you will. I dag har jeg, that's focused on today. And the second one, jeg har travlt, is focused on I'm busy, rather than the day. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Og the next one, måske er det det rigtige at gøre. Måske er det det rigtige at gøre. Det er måske det rigtige at gøre. Det er måske det rigtige at gøre. It's just a matter of the focus. Maybe it's the right thing to do, is the meaning. Yeah. So you can do both. It just changes the focus of the sentence. Yeah. Beautiful. Some more examples of that. Desværre har jeg ikke tid. Desværre har jeg ikke tid. Jeg har desværre ikke tid. Jeg har desværre ikke tid. Sadly, I don't have time. And it's the exact same thing. Right? It's a choice, but it changes how the sentence sounds. That is how it is. Right? It's not just random. There's a reason for it. Og the next one. I morgen skal jeg til fest. I morgen skal jeg til fest. Or jeg skal til fest i morgen. Jeg skal til fest i morgen. I'm going to a party tomorrow. Right? Easy peasy. So again, it's about where you want to put the focus, and then how do you know when to start with the preposition or the adverb or the conjunction? Well, again, it is a lot about the focus, but it's also practice. Right? It's about being exposed to natural conversation, like native speakers, talking to them, listening to them, watching TV, podcasts, radio shows, whatever. That is a lot of practice. Right? So you sort of get an idea, some intuitive feeling for how it works. And that's not a a magical pill. Maybe not what you want to hear, but it works. Right? It really does work. So yeah. Now there's just one more final point about this whole verb inversion. But it's actually kind of easy. It's object-verb inversion. Right? Now, what is an object? An object is, we can see it here in red, an object is the sort of passive thing. Right? The passive thing in a sentence, where the active one is the subject. And so if I eat bread, then jeg spiser brød. And that is, of course, yeah, we have it down here. Right? Vi spiser brød. And that would be we eat bread. But here there's inversion because we start with the object. And when we start with the object, we have verb inversion as well. Right? The idea here is something like we have the stress on that. So we don't say tid vi har masser af. Right? Well, you could, but that would be more like time that we have a lot of, and then something following. Right? But it doesn't have a continuation, it just ends. So tid har vi masser af. Time, we have plenty of that. Right? Tid har vi masser af. Time, we have plenty of. We have plenty of time. Det ved jeg ikke. That I don't know, or I don't know that. Brødet spiser vi. Brødet spiser vi. The bread we eat the bread. Right? You see? So we are putting the stress on the object. Tid har vi masser af. Right? It's like time we have a lot of, but there's something else we don't have. Right? It's like that. It's the thing we're having that we have to focus on here. Tid har vi nok af, men ikke energi, but not energy. Det ved jeg ikke, that I don't know. Men det her ved jeg, but this I know. Right? So it could be a contrast. Brødet spiser vi, the bread we eat. Yeah, could be one. Brødet spiser vi, vandet drikker vi, the water we drink. Right? So you have like the object and the verb you're doing, the action you're doing with it or to it. Make sense? Might be a little bit hard for some of you, but it's good to know. It's not the most important. Verb inversion with prepositions is more important, but this is still important. Yeah. Alright, cool. Some more examples of that. Bogen fandt jeg under bordet. Bogen fandt jeg under bordet. The book I found under the table. I found the book under the table. Like, again, the book you found under the table, maybe the glass you found on the table or on the roof or on the wherever, right? On the counter. So, bogen fandt jeg. Og sæbe bruger jeg ikke så tit. Sæbe bruger jeg ikke så tit. Soap, I don't use that often. I don't use soap that often. Right? Maybe he doesn't use soap. Maybe he uses shampoo. Or he doesn't use anything. You see what I mean? That's where the focus is. The focus is on the soap. So it's not on him. And it's not on the frequency. It's on the soap. Ideen fik jeg for et par dage siden. Ideen fik jeg for et par dage siden. The idea I got a couple of days ago. Or I got the idea a couple of days ago. Now this could be contrasted with something like ideen fik jeg for et par dage siden. Men jeg fortalte den først i sidste uge. Eller, men jeg fortalte den først i dag. But I only just told it today. Right? So it could make a contrast between the time he got the idea and the time he told the idea. Right? Or ideen, let's say it's an idea for a thing, but then there's the execution of the thing. Right? Or someone is publishing the thing. Yeah. Alright, cool. So, in essence, when you have the object first, verb inversion occurs. So in these sentences, the emphasis is on the object, not the subject. Right? And the subject is the doer. Right? The doer is the active party, the one acting. I know it sounds kind of technical, but it's really not. And if you can get past the grammar terms, then that'll help you a lot. If you can just be cool with that. Right? Because it's kind of beautiful and it makes it easier. You can of course say it in two ways. Right? You can say something like tid har vi masser af. Right? Stress on the object. Or vi har masser af tid. Stress is more on the subject or the verb. So they both mean we have a lot of time, but the focus is different. Right? Wonderful. Now, the main thing is knowing when verb inversion occurs and when it doesn't. So, we've had a whole lot of explanations and examples in this little video, but let's have an actual context so you can see inversion happening in real time. Right? A little bit of a context here. I wish it could be longer, but there's got to be room for translation. So, det er tidlig morgen, jeg er lidt træt i dag. I går var jeg ikke, men i dag er jeg. Måske er det fordi jeg ikke sover nok. Hvis jeg ikke sover nok, er jeg træt næste dag. Right? Now that was kind of fast. Let's break it down. Det er tidlig morgen, jeg er lidt træt i dag. Right? That's pretty straightforward. There's no inversion. Right? Just, det er tidlig morgen, it's early morning, jeg er lidt træt i dag. I'm early today. Right? You have i dag at the end here. And when it's at the end, there can't be inversion. Right? That's just impossible. So, there's nothing to say there really. Jeg er lidt træt i dag, I'm a little tired today. Right? But the second one, now that's more interesting. I går var jeg ikke. Yesterday I wasn't. Right? There's inversion, because i går is time. Right? I går has something to do with time. And then there's inversion. It's that simple. Men i dag er jeg, but today I am. And there's inversion again. I dag er jeg, because i dag is also about time. Or this one. Måske er det fordi. Måske er det fordi. Maybe it's because. And there's inversion. Måske er, maybe it is. Måske er det fordi, jeg ikke sover nok. I don't sleep enough. Yeah. So actually here there's inversion even though you have fordi in the middle. Right? Because what's more important than that is that you have an adverb in the beginning. Right? Something that colors the sentence. Yeah. Or this one. Hvis jeg ikke sover nok. If I don't sleep enough. Hvis jeg ikke sover nok. And then inversion. Er jeg træt the next day. Right? Let's look at that again. Here there's no inversion, the first one. Here there's inversion. Inversion again. Måske er det fordi, there's inversion. Hvis jeg ikke sover nok, er jeg træt. There's also inversion. There's a lot of inversion. But even though there's a lot, you still have to know the rules. You can't just add it randomly. It's a bit of hit and miss, but you want to know the rules. Alright, cool. And this is a little more interesting. Also some more context. Selvfølgelig kommer vi til festen i morgen. Og faktisk har vi glædet os hele ugen. Er det okay, hvis vi tager en flaske vin med? Du bliver så munter, når du drikker vin. Alright, slow down. Selvfølgelig kommer vi til festen i morgen. Ikke? Gotta have inversion. You don't want to say, selvfølgelig vi kommer. Right? You can only say that if you, like I said before, you have like, selvfølgelig, right? Like in the end sentence, vi kommer til festen i morgen, but then they're not connected. So, or the next one, faktisk har vi glædet os hele ugen. Actually, we've been excited all week, or we've been looking forward to it all week. Right? Har vi glædet os? We have been. Right? Ja. Har vi glædet os? But the third one, er det okay, hvis vi tager en flaske vin med? Basically, is it okay if we bring a bottle of wine? If we bring that to the party? And here there's no inversion. And there's no inversion because we have the conjunction in the middle. Right? If we put this over here, hvis det er okay, then there would be an inversion. Right? But there's not. It's here in the middle. So there's no inversion. And the same thing with the last one. Du bliver så munter, når du drikker vin. Du bliver så munter, når du drikker vin. You get so jolly or cheery or cheerful when you drink wine. Right? So the first sentence here, du bliver så munter, makes perfect sense on its own. And because it does that, there is no inversion in the second part. It's really that simple. Når du drikker vin. You could actually say that there's like two separate sentences, and the only thing connecting them is the når. I could say, du bliver så munter, you get so jolly. And I could also say, du drikker vin. Right? Two independent things, and I just connect them with the når. It's like that. Yeah. Wonderful. So it's really kind of easy. Now this one is something from one of the Danish stories I wrote, and I wrote a lot, so I just picked a little bit here. And as you see, there's no translation, but I'll just verbally translate. You will be told what's going on. I put the verbs in purple, and again the adverbs and prepositions and all that in blue. So, hvordan kan det være, spørger I stjævnundrende. Jo, ser du, som du måske har bemærket, så har jeg kun et horn. Og hvis der er noget, der er eftertragtet i det kriminelle miljø i mit hjemland, så er det enhjørninghorn. Det er virkelig noget, der sælger godt. Isdjævlen lytter til hendes historie. Han er god til at se, når folk lyver, og indtil videre har Gudskøn ikke givet ham nogen grund til ikke at tro på hende. Now that's long, but it's really not that hard, and it's a very good practice. So look at this. Hvordan kan det være? Eh? We see the verbs here. Spørg. Now that's actually also inversion, but this is because it's a quote. Like when someone is quoting, either like they're asking, yelling, singing, saying, etc., then we also have inversion. So, spørg I stjævlen undrende. How can that be? The ice devil. Made up word. It's a made up word. Don't walk around and say that. The ice devil asked, intrigued, or wonderingly. Jo, ser du, well, you see, som du måske har bemærket, as you may have noticed, som du måske har bemærket. Now here there's inversion again. Måske har bemærket. Så har jeg kun et horn. Then I only have one horn. Yeah, so, like then creates inversion. Og hvis der er noget, and if there is something, noget der er eftertragtet, something that is sought after or popular, there's demand, i det kriminelle miljø, in the criminal environment, in those circles, i mit hjemland, in my home country, så er det enhjørninghorn. Then it is unicorn horns. Is that even a word? Let's say it is. Så er det enhjørningehorn. There's also inversion. Så er det. Then it is. Det er virkelig noget, der sælger godt. Det er virkelig noget, der sælger godt. And there is no inversion here, but there is der, and der is a conjunction, something that sells well. Isdjævlen lytter til hendes historie. The ice devil is listening to her story. Han er god til at se, når folk lyver. He is good at seeing when people are lying. Og indtil videre. What is indtil videre? Indtil videre means like and so far or up until this point. So far, Gudskøn hasn't given him. Inversion again. Like, indtil videre har. The har comes right after. Right? Gudskøn hasn't given him nogen grund til ikke at tro på hende. Hasn't given him any reason not to believe her. Right? So this is really good. Like, of course, this is from a story, and I'll say you can do the same thing. Like, grab some short story, one of mine, or from a library, or anywhere really. Like, just grab some stories, and maybe even better, like, buy the book yourself, because then you can like highlight and you can ruin the book any way you want, with all your notes. So like really practice. Oh, there's inversion. Oh, there's not inversion. And then slowly you will see the patterns emerging. Because like I said, it's not all that random. It's not just some thing we sprinkle on the text or the language. It's there for a reason, and there's a rule, or there are rules to it. So yeah. Well, I'll give you a few more examples. These are a bit out of context, but just, to really, really hammer it home. I dag er jeg glad. Today I'm happy. Selvfølgelig elsker jeg ham. Of course I love him. I Danmark spiser vi ikke den slags. In Denmark, we don't eat that kind of thing. På en måde er hun meget interessant. In a way, she's very interesting. Desværre kender hun ikke svaret. Sadly, she doesn't know the answer. Right? Now, you already know the rules. I already told you. So let's just see how it is put together. I dag er jeg. Today I am. Right? Inversion. Selvfølgelig elsker. That is inversion. Selvfølgelig is an adverb. Selvfølgelig elsker jeg ham. I Danmark spiser. Right? Same thing. We got the verb here. And eat. Right? Spiser vi. På en måde, because it's in a way. Right? It's like location, even if it's not physical, but it's in a way. Right? Desværre kender hun ikke svaret. Sadly, she doesn't know the answer. Because desværre is an adverb. Right? And it adds spice, flavor, if you will, to the sentence. Yeah. Now that was a lot of fun. There have been so many examples today, and you can rewatch this video, and you can also look at the slides if you have them. Then you can really like print them out and put them on your wall or whatever helps you, because it just helps you so much to keep seeing it again and again. Because when you get out there in the real world, you want to keep this in mind. You want to keep practicing. But by understanding and memorizing the rules in this video, you will master Danish verb inversion. Like, you will have it down. You will escape this, I don't know what you want to call this, hell. Some people describe it as where inversion is just this annoying thing. Because it doesn't have to be annoying. It doesn't have to be difficult. It really is this simple. Now, there's something that's more like adverb. Verb inversion is based on clauses. And it changes sort of the place of the adverb and the verb next to each other. But we'll get to that another time, because I like to focus on one thing at a time. So today was verb inversion, and then we can do the other thing another time. But that is pretty much it. Guys, thank you for watching, and I want to say a special thanks to all the members of this channel. You see the people right here, all these names are the people who have access to all the videos, and also the PDF files for recent videos. And when I say PDF files, of course, I'm talking about slides. Right? The slides for this video and many others. I think it's like 19 or 20 videos now. Yeah, since end of September last year. Yeah, so all these things, you can just have them and print them out and study with them. It's a good bonus. It's a good supplement to your studies. Now, of course, as I always have to say, if you want to own the videos, if you want to have the videos for life, you don't want to do some monthly thing, then you can go to the website danishmastery.com. And here I have all the videos, I think it's getting close to 360 now. There's all kinds of levels. Here we have some advanced videos, see some of this really crazy and funny. And over here we have some stories, and this is more like intermediate videos. So there's like all levels. It's really all levels on the website. And yeah, I made it that way because you as a learner, you have a learning curve. Like, you're starting somewhere, and I want to make sure that there's always going to be videos for you, no matter what your level is. So there are videos for everyone. Like complete beginner, like normal beginner, upper beginner, low intermediate, all the way up to advanced. There's something for everyone. And on top of that, I also put some exercises, like these little documents that you can see here. For example, something with conjunctions. So like maybe you have to fill in a blank. You have to fill in the right answer. And then you can check it on your own, because there's a document with the right answers. So you can do that afterwards. So that's really cool. There's like 6 or 7 of those documents. And I also have a mini collection of podcast episodes. These I actually did quite a long time ago with Liam on the whole website. But I have them here as well. So I have like 7 podcast episodes where we have like some dialogue, and then we break it down. We talk about the grammar, and you can get the PDF file. It's really good stuff. Like, if you're a serious learner, this is definitely something that you wanna consider to help you and to boost your learning. But yeah, I'll say that you can get all the videos over here, and it's lifetime access. So if you get them, you don't have to worry about some recurring bill or some subscription. It's like no. It's for life. Like, maybe it's the basic videos, or it's like most of the videos, or it's all the videos plus future videos and the bonuses. It depends. It depends how much you want and how serious you are. But it's definitely good stuff. Very good stuff. Now, before I sign off, I do have to check the live stream. It's important to see what you guys are saying today. So, Valerie's saying, hi Thomas. Hi. Anigia Figuriero. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Hi Thomas, hvordan har du det? Jeg har det fint, tak. Hvad med dig? Same person is saying, da jeg var ung, elskede jeg gyserfilm. Oh, cool. I'm scared. Yvonne Liu has some nice emojis. Nice. Steven Mitrovic says, det er great. Nice. Andrew says, do I need to pronounce V as an N in English? V as an N. I'm not sure if I get that question. Well, the V in Danish can sometimes sound more like a U. And like, for example, if I say, hvad laver du? Laver, L-A-V-E-R. What are you doing? Hvad laver du? As an N, no, I don't recognize that. You can elaborate in the comments if you want. I don't get it. And Mel Murphy says, tusind tak, in one word. That's not how you do it, but thanks, I appreciate it. Alright guys, I'm gonna sign off now. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me, and I really, really hope that this video helped you, because inversion is a big challenge, but it's really not that complicated. So good luck, and have a great weekend. Alright? See you guys.